Most guys compliment women the same way, and it leads nowhere. You're beautiful, you have a nice smile, you look amazing tonight. It's predictable, safe, and forgettable. But the truth is, compliments aren't just words, they're signals. Signals of how deeply you see her and how different you are from every other guy she's met. And when you say the right words, the right way, you can reprogram how she sees you. Not as a nice guy, not as someone who just wants something from her, but as a man who sees her worth on a level most men never reach. Now, let me be clear. These aren't cheesy pickup lines or fake flattery. These are psychologically powerful compliments rooted in the philosophy of Stoicism. They don't just feed her ego, they speak to her identity. They affirm her inner world, her strength, her growth, her self-respect. And that hits different. Because when a woman feels seen, not just looked at, you earn something most men never do: respect. By the end of this video, you're going to walk away with 5 powerful compliments that set you apart from 99% of men. I'll show you exactly why they work, when to use them, and how to say them in a way that actually sticks. This isn't about manipulation, it's about genuine connection. And once you learn this, she'll never see you the same way again. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe if you're ready to transform how you handle relationships using the power of Stoicism. Every video is a step toward mastering your mindset and building stronger, more meaningful connections. Let's be real. Superficial compliments don't work anymore. She hears them every day, on Instagram, on dating apps, walking down the street. "You're so pretty. Wow, you're gorgeous. I love your hair." It doesn't matter how sincere it is. It gets lost in the noise. Because here's the truth most men don't realize. When you only praise what the world already sees, you're not showing her anything new about herself. You're not setting yourself apart. You're just another echo. But when you compliment a woman's virtue, her character, her mindset, the way she navigates life, that's when everything changes. Because you're not flattering her, you're honoring her. And deep down, every woman craves to be recognized, not just for how she looks, but for who she is. That's where Stoicism enters the picture. Stoic men believed that virtue was the only true good. That character, discipline, courage, wisdom. These are the things that define a person's worth. So when you recognize those traits in a woman, you're not just being kind, you're seeing her soul. And most men, they never even get close to that level. But you, after this video, you will. Let's go to compliment number 1. The way you handle difficult conversations with maturity is something I really respect. Let's break this down. Most people, men and women, avoid tough conversations like the plague. They deflect, they shut down, they lash out. But when you meet a woman who faces hard truths with calm, clarity, and maturity, that's rare, that's gold. Here's what makes this compliment so powerful. You're not praising how she wins arguments or how she gets her way. You're admiring how she communicates when it's hard, when emotions run high, when most people would either get defensive or disappear. Women, especially emotionally intelligent women, crave to be seen as more than just nice or pretty. They want to be seen as emotionally wise. They want to feel like the way they process conflict, how they stay grounded and respectful, is actually noticed. And the truth? Very few people notice. So when you say this to her, you're lighting up a part of her identity that rarely gets any praise, but one that she's deeply proud of. Now let's talk Stoicism. What you're really praising here is emotional self-control, one of the highest Stoic virtues. The Stoics taught that it's not what happens to us that matters, it's how we respond. And that includes conflict. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul." So when a woman handles difficult conversations with maturity, she's practicing exactly that. Detachment from ego, clarity under pressure, and rational self-command. You're not just giving her a compliment. You're recognizing Stoic excellence. Now, here's the key: timing. You don't want to say this just because she disagreed with you calmly one time. It has to be earned. Here are a few examples of when it hits hard. After an emotional conversation where she stays centered, she didn't play games, didn't manipulate, didn't avoid. Just honesty, grace, and presence. That's when you say, "The way you handled that." Seriously. Most people can't do that. I respect that about you. When she supports someone else through drama without adding fuel to the fire. Maybe a friend vented to her, and instead of gossiping or judging, she helped them reflect. Tell her, "I noticed how calm and grounded you were." That's real maturity. It's rare. When she shares a story from her past, where she navigated conflict with integrity, that's your opening. Look her in the eye and say, "The way you handle difficult conversations, it shows a level of emotional intelligence most people never reach. I really respect that." Now listen, delivery is everything. Say this with a steady, calm voice. Make eye contact. Let your tone reflect sincerity, not seduction. You're not trying to impress her. You're honoring her. Let there be a pause after you say it. Let the words land, and then move on. Don't overdo it. A compliment like this doesn't need hype. It carries its own weight, because this isn't about flattery. It's about respect. And when you respect a woman on this level, she doesn't just feel seen. She sees you differently too. Compliment too. "I really respect how intentional you are with your life." Most people just drift. Let's be honest. Most people wake up, go through the motions, and end their day no closer to anything meaningful. They chase distractions. They follow trends. They live by accident, not by design. But when you meet a woman who moves with intention, when she's clear about who she is, what she wants, and what she won't tolerate, that's rare, that's powerful, and that deserves to be seen. This isn't about praising her ambition. It's deeper than that. You're recognizing her self-awareness, her clarity, her inner compass. You're saying, "I see that you're not just existing, you're choosing." And here's the kicker. Most women rarely hear this. They're used to compliments on how they look, how they dress, maybe even how smart or kind they are. But very few people ever say, "I admire how you think. I admire how deliberate you are with your life." That kind of compliment hits a different part of the brain. It activates something deeper than attraction. It triggers respect. And when a woman feels respected by you, something shifts. You stop being just another guy. You become someone who sees her on a level most people miss completely. This compliment is a direct nod to one of the Stoics' most sacred values, self-mastery. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Intention is the root of the Stoic path. A Stoic doesn't live reactively. He doesn't get blown by the winds of emotion or opinion. He chooses his actions with purpose. Every step is calculated, every word measured. So when you admire a woman's intentionality, you're aligning her with the very foundation of Stoic virtue, living according to reason, not impulse. You're not just flattering her, you're showing that she lives by logos, the guiding principle of a rational, powerful life. When to use this compliment? Timing is key. Drop this when she shares something that reflects vision or deliberate decision-making, not when she's talking about random weekend plans or gossip. Here are the best moments to use it: when she talks about her long-term goals. Maybe she's planning to move cities, change careers, or build something on her own. That's when you lean in and say, "I really respect how intentional you are with your life." Most people just drift, but you're actually steering the ship. When she makes a hard choice based on values, not comfort. Maybe she left a job, ended a relationship, or changed a major life pattern because it didn't align with who she's becoming. Tell her, that takes a lot of self-awareness. Most people don't even ask themselves those questions. When she reflects on her past with clarity, if she talks about how a bad season taught her something and how she moved forward differently, that's your opening. The way you turned that experience into a lesson. It's clear you're living with purpose. Don't say this in a hyped-up or romantic tone. Say it like a man who recognizes alignment, like you're talking to a peer, an equal. Let your tone be calm, grounded. You're not trying to impress her, you're acknowledging her. Look her in the eyes, nod slowly, and say it with weight. I really respect how intentional you are with your life. Then pause. Don't over-explain. Don't soften it with a joke. Let the silence honor the depth of what you just said, because women remember the moments they feel seen, not for their beauty, but for their character. All right, real quick, I want to hear from you. Which of these compliments do you think would have the biggest impact in your own life? Or maybe you have your own go-to compliment that truly changes the game. Drop it in the comments right now. Just type this phrase, I speak with purpose, not just words. That way, I know you're here not just watching, but really absorbing this. And trust me, reading your thoughts fuels this entire community. So don't be shy. Let's make this a real conversation. Compliment 3, you don't just follow trends, you think for yourself. That's rare. You know what's easy? Scrolling, copying, blending in. Today's world rewards imitation. Most people just want to be accepted, to be liked, to belong. So they wear what's trending, say what's safe, believe what's popular. But when you meet a woman who dares to think for herself, who questions the script, chooses her own path, and holds her own opinions, even when they're unpopular, that's not just attractive, it's magnetic. Most compliments women get focus on surface-level traits, beauty, smile, body, or vibe. But very few people notice what's beneath the surface. Even fewer have the emotional depth to admire how she thinks. And here's where it gets interesting. When you compliment a woman's independence of thought, you're separating her from the crowd. You're saying, you're not just reacting to the world, you're responding to it with awareness. This is deeply validating because every strong woman, even the most confident ones, often feel pressure to conform. So when you point out her refusal to just go with the flow, you're not just praising her uniqueness, you're celebrating her courage. This compliment aligns with one of the Stoics' most sacred principles, rational independence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Stoicism is about living in accordance with reason, not popularity. It's the art of thinking clearly even when everyone else is lost in noise. So when you admire a woman for thinking for herself, you're highlighting a core Stoic virtue. Living by inner wisdom, not external validation. You're saying, you're not controlled by the crowd, you have your own compass. That's rare, and rare is powerful. Use this when she shows intellectual autonomy, moments when she goes against popular opinion with calm confidence, expresses a nuanced take instead of repeating cliché ideas, chooses actions based on values, not trends. Examples, she says she's not on TikTok because it drains her focus. You respond, you don't just follow trends, you think for yourself. That's rare. She explains why she doesn't drink at every social event, even when everyone else does. Say, I respect that. Most people just go with the flow, but you actually stand for something. She talks about something she used to believe but changed her mind about after reflection. That's your chance. The fact that you can think independently and evolve your perspective, that's powerful. Deliver this with a tone of genuine respect, not flirtation. Your posture should be grounded. Make eye contact. Keep your voice steady. You're not trying to charm her. You're honoring her strength. This isn't a compliment for approval. It's a recognition of character. Say it like this. You don't just follow trends. You think for yourself. That's rare. Then pause. Let it land. Because in a world that constantly pushes people to conform, telling her she thinks independently will echo in her mind longer than any compliment about her looks. Compliment 4. The way you hold space for other people, it shows strength, not weakness. In a world that's loud, fast, and self-absorbed, there's something quietly powerful about someone who listens, someone who creates a safe space for others to open up. Without judging, interrupting, or rushing to fix things, most people think strength is about being loud, being dominant, being the center of attention. But real strength is still. It's calm. It's the ability to be present when someone else is falling apart and not fall apart with them. So when you say this, the way you hold space for other people, it shows strength, not weakness. You're doing something rare. You're flipping the narrative. You're telling her that her softness is not a liability. It's her superpower. Many women, especially those who are naturally empathetic, have spent years being told they're too sensitive, too emotional, or too nice. They've internalized the message that caring deeply is a flaw, something to hide or harden. But the truth is, most men don't know how to name or value emotional strength when they see it in a woman. When you offer this compliment, you're doing two powerful things at once. 1. You're validating a part of her that she's probably had to defend or downplay for years. 2. You're elevating emotional presence to the level of power, not weakness. That kind of emotional affirmation isn't just memorable, it's healing. The Stoics weren't cold or emotionless. They were disciplined. They believed in using reason to govern emotions, not erase them, and they understood the power of compassion with boundaries. Epictetus taught that we should help others while maintaining our inner peace, not from pity, but from virtue. When a woman is able to be deeply present with others without losing herself, when she can sit in discomfort with someone else's pain and not run or collapse, that's not emotional fragility, that's emotional mastery. This is the Stoic principle of service through stability. So when you compliment her ability to hold space, you're recognizing her as someone who is both kind and composed, a rare balance of heart and discipline. Use this when she talks about being there for a friend going through something difficult, mentions listening to others without judgment, comforts someone in a moment of vulnerability, shows patience with someone who's struggling. Examples: she tells you her friend called her at 2 a.m. in tears, and she just listened for hours. Say, the way you hold space for people like that, it's not weakness, that's strength. You notice how she supports people emotionally without seeking credit or praise. You can say, you know, a lot of people overlook how powerful that is, but I don't. That's real strength. She's the kind of person everyone seems to open up to. That's your cue. It says a lot about you, how safe people feel around you. That kind of presence is rare. This compliment isn't about showing off how observant you are. It's about honoring something sacred. So lower your tone, slow your pace. Look her in the eye, not with intensity, but with respect. Say it like this: the way you hold space for other people, it shows strength, not weakness. Then pause, because empathy is often invisible. But when someone finally sees it, it changes everything. And the moment you name that invisible strength in her, she won't forget you. Compliment 5. Your discipline is more attractive than anything else. You don't just wish, you do. There's something magnetic about a woman who moves with discipline, not just someone who talks about her goals, but someone who actually shows up. Every single day, early mornings, structured routines, saying no to distractions, yes to consistency. When you say, your discipline is more attractive than anything else, you don't just wish, you do. You're elevating her from the level of intention to the level of execution. Here's what most guys don't understand. The world is constantly telling women they're enough just as they are, which is comforting but also a trap, because deep down many women still crave the earned respect that comes from building themselves. But society rarely praises women for their discipline, their consistency, their grind. Instead, they get attention for surface-level things, looks, style, charm. So when you notice the thing no one else sees, her early mornings at the gym, her meal prep, her study schedule, the way she structures her day so she can hit long-term goals, you instantly stand out. You're not just flirting, you're seeing her on a deeper level, where most men never look. The Stoics didn't care about what people said, they cared about what people did. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Discipline was everything. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing up, especially when you didn't feel like it. So when a woman lives that way, when she shows up, even tired, even unmotivated, even when nobody's clapping for her, that's the embodiment of Stoic strength. She's aligned with the Stoic ideal of consistency over chaos, action over excuses. Use this when she mentions going to the gym, even on tough days, talks about waking up early to stay on schedule, follows a meal plan, study plan, or financial goal, chooses long-term goals over short-term pleasure. Examples: you see her sticking to her routine while everyone else is slacking off. Say, honestly, your discipline is more attractive than anything else. You don't just talk, you do. She tells you she's been consistent in a habit for months. Drop this. That kind of consistency? That's rare, and honestly, it's powerful. You notice how intentional she is with her schedule. Hit her with, you live with structure. That's something I deeply respect. This compliment needs to land with certainty. Don't say it like you're just being sweet. Say it like you're acknowledging a fact that most people miss. Your tone should be calm but firm, a low, grounded delivery, like a man who respects strength when he sees it. Let your body language match. Steady eye contact, stillness, a subtle nod of approval, as if to say, I recognize your fire. Your discipline is more attractive than anything else. You don't just wish, you do. Then pause. Let it sink in, because for a woman who's been building quietly, that moment of being seen will echo longer than any pickup line ever could. Let's take a second to lock this in. Here are the 5 compliments that rewire a woman's mind, not through manipulation, but through truth. 1. There's something about your energy that instantly calms the room. You're recognizing her peace as power. 2. You carry yourself like someone who's seen both light and darkness and didn't break. You're honoring her invisible battles. 3. You don't just follow trends, you think for yourself. That's rare. You're showing respect for her independent mind. 4. The way you hold space for other people, it shows strength, not weakness. You're elevating her empathy to something sacred. 5. Your discipline is more attractive than anything else. You don't just wish, you do. You're praising her consistency, what most men never see. But here's what separates a boy trying to impress from a man rooted in purpose. These compliments only work when they come from a place of presence, not performance. You're not trying to get a reaction. You're not throwing flattery hoping it lands. You're observing deeply. And when the moment is right, you speak. That's what Stoic men do. They talk less, they observe more, And when they choose to speak, their words cut through the noise, not because they're loud, but because they're real. So no, this isn't about tactics. This isn't about seduction. This is about recognition, seeing a woman beyond the obvious, and reflecting back to her the parts she thought no one noticed. That is presence. That is wisdom. That is strength. And that's exactly the kind of man she can't forget. So those were the 5 compliments that truly reprogram how she sees you. Compliments that go beyond surface-level flattery and speak to something deeper. If you found this valuable, I've got another video that dives into a huge mistake almost every guy makes when complimenting women, and what you should do instead to really stand out. Look for the video right here on your screen. Never compliment her like this. Do this instead. Go ahead and click it now to keep leveling up your game. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I post content like this every week to help you grow in confidence and mindset. Drop a like if you enjoyed this and leave a comment telling me which compliment you're going to use first. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.